Have you ever stopped to think about how words are, well, built? Like they're following some kind of secret rule book? Well, today, we're going to crack open that book and look at one of the biggest secrets of all, the system of doers. It's a pattern that's been hiding in plain sight, and I promise you, once you see it, you're going to see it everywhere.
And it all kicks off with a really common pronunciation mistake, actually. A mistake that, believe it or not, cracks open this huge secret about how words are put together. So, here's the puzzle. How is it that changing just one tiny little vowel sound can completely change what a word means?
Okay, let's look at this. You've got the word muntakhab. This means something that's been selected. Like a book that's been chosen. Now listen really closely to this next part. We're just going to change one little vowel sound, that A becomes an I, and suddenly we have muntakhib. And that means the selector, the person doing the choosing. One's the object, one's the agent. How is that even possible? Well, the answer shows us that words basically live in two different neighborhoods.
Yeah, to get to the bottom of this, we've got to look at where words actually come from. You can pretty much split them into two big categories, nouns that are built and nouns that are just found.
And this is a great way to think about it. On one side, you've got jamid nouns. These are kind of like found rocks. Take a word like jugad. We all use it, but where did it come from? What are its parts? We don't really know. It just is. But then, on the other side, you have mushtaq nouns. And these are the built words. Think of them like Legos. You can see exactly how a word like chorangi is constructed from its root parts, chad, rang, or four colors. And our whole vowel mystery, it's hiding inside these built words.
So the proper term for these built words is Asma-e-Mushtaqa. And what makes them so cool is that they always have two ingredients, a root, that's the core meaning, and a pattern, which tells you the word's job. And because of that, we can take them apart and see how they work. There are actually 8 different types, and figuring them out is the key to solving our puzzle.
All right, so let's jump into the first and, honestly, the most important type of these built words. We're talking about the noun that describes the doer, the one who's actually doing the thing.
This guy is called the ismo fa'il, which literally means the doer noun. Its whole identity, its reason for being, is to tell you who or what is performing an action. So think about words like zalim, that's the oppressor, qatil, the killer, katib, the writer. You see that connection, right? They're all about the one doing the action.
Okay, so how do we actually make one of these doer nouns? Well, there are basically 2 main recipes you can follow. And which one you use really just depends on whether the word's root is simple or a bit more complex.
Let's check out recipe number 1. This is for the simple 3-letter roots. And honestly, it's super easy. You just take your root letters, like Q, T, L, which has the meaning of killing, then you slot them into the standard doer pattern, which is fa'ilun. Put them together, and what do you get? Qatil, the killer. It's that simple. The root provides the meaning, the pattern tells you it's the doer.
But what about the more complex roots? For that, we need recipe number 2. And folks, this is it. This is where we solve the mystery from the beginning. So here's how it works. You start with the present tense form of the verb, something like yuslimu, which means he submits. Step 1, you swap that first letter out for a mu sound. And then, and this is the most important part, you make sure that the second to last letter has an e sound. What's the result? Muslim, one who submits.
And boom, there's our answer. That mu at the beginning and that little e sound near the end, that's the telltale sign. It's the signal that you're looking at a doer noun that came from a complex root. And that's exactly why muntakhib with the mu and the e has to mean the selector. It's literally built into the word. It's in its DNA.
Okay, but hold on. There's one more really important layer to this that we need to unpack. You have to understand the difference between a word's identity, how it's built, and its job in a sentence. Because, and this is key, they are not always the same thing.
The source material we're looking at phrases it perfectly. It says, it is not necessary that an ismo fa'il is always the fa'il in a sentence. In other words, just because a word is built like a doer doesn't mean it's always doing the action in a sentence. Let me show you a really wild example of this. So, let's take a look at this sentence. Mahmoud hit Hamid. Seems simple, right? Mahmoud is the one doing the hitting, Hamid is the one getting hit. But if we look at the construction of their names, that's where things get really, really interesting. Okay, get ready because this is where your brain might bend a little. Let's look at Mahmoud. In this sentence, he's the fa'il, right? He's the doer.
But his name itself, Mahood, is built on the pattern of an object, something that is done to. Now check out Hamid. In the sentence, he's the object, the maf'ul. He's the one being hit. But his name, Hamid, is a textbook ismul fa'il. It's built as a doer, specifically one who praises. How crazy is that?
So here's the simplest way to think about it. Ismul fa'il, that's the word's permanent identity. It's about how it's constructed. But fa'il, that's just its temporary job in one particular sentence. A word can absolutely be built as a doer and still end up being the one getting hit, just like poor Hamid in our example. And the cool thing is, now that you know these two recipes, you're going to start seeing these doer nouns all over the place. You'll spot a word like qafilin and go, ah, that's the simple pattern. You'll hear the me sound in words like muslimain or munkiratun and immediately know, okay, that's the complex pattern. You've basically been given a key to unlock a hidden layer in the words you see.
You know, what we've just looked at is only one of the 8 types of these special built words. The doer noun is really just the beginning, the tip of the iceberg. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Now that you can spot this one pattern, what other hidden systems, what other secret codes are just waiting for you to find them in the words you use every single day?